Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever, wherever you are. I'm very happy to be here. Many years ago, there were gods, semi-gods, creators, human beings, animals. And one day, Hera, the wife of Zeus, was not very happy because she discovered that Zeus had made a son with a human mortal, Alcmene. So she decided to punish not Zeus, but the son, which name was Heracles, or Hercules in Latin. And after several unsuccessful attempts, Hera managed to make Heracles lose insanity. He killed his wife, Megana, his kids. And after he recovered from his insanity, he was shocked about what he had done. So he called on Apollon. And Apollon asked him to serve Eurypylus for very difficult tasks, 10 tasks that later become the 12 tasks of Hercules. So by now you have discovered that I am not a prof of ancient civilization and mythology. My name is Frédéric Dalsace. I'm a professor of marketing and strategy at IMD. Very, very different. But I like very much the similarity between the 12 labors of Hercules and the 7 new tasks of marketing. They share many things together. Hercules need to redeem, at least, need to do something to recover. The tasks are absolutely formidable. And there is a sense of optimism after you have read the 12 labors of Hercules. Nothing is impossible. And I hope you will share this sense of optimism after this session. I hope that by the end of the session, you will understand that this is a call for action. This is a very serious call for action. And I hope to leave you with a framework that will help you in this call for action. Now, before we start, really, I just want a couple of rules or rules of the game. I will talk for 35 to 40 minutes, and then I'll take questions, whatever you want. I propose we use the chat to monitor the question. I don't promise I will look at each and every question, but I'll try to go from there to here where I have my questions. If you have clarification question, you may want to ask them. I will try to see them, but we'll save at least 20 minutes at the end to answer all the questions you want. And if you want the slides, you have my name, you have my email address, so don't worry. If you think they are worthwhile, I'll be happy to send the slides to you. Okay? Good. I think a good starting point, in fact, I told you I was a prof of marketing and strategy at IMD. So I thought that a good way to start was to start with IMD vision. At IMD, and this is taken very seriously by everybody at IMD and by the prof, we are challenging what is and inspiring what could be. We develop leaders who transform organization and contribute to society. I think that what I would like to do within this hour is to inspire you, if possible, and hopefully to contribute to society. Why do we need to contribute to society? Because I think there is a huge challenge ahead of us. And this is where the 12 labors of Hercules are a nice metaphor. The challenge ahead of us is in 2 parts. First, and I hope you will agree with me, at least many of you will agree with me, that we have a problem because the ratio of resource divided by population, the resource per capita, is going down. If you look at the numerator, the resources, we have peak of natural resources, we have a peak probably or diminishing of living resources. This is combined as an interaction effect with the elevation of the temperature of the planet. And this is also combined by the rarefaction of usable land. So resources are probably going down and maybe going down at a faster pace. On the denominator, we have an increased population, as you know. The most pessimistic scenario is for having 16 billion people on the planet by 2100. And this is multiplied on the denominator by something that I hate to call it a problem, because it's just the most incredible feast, most incredible achievement that we have made so far, which is the increase of life expectancy on the planet on average of 20 years. So we have more people, but it's a strain on the resources, because not only we have more people, but they live longer. So we have a resource per capita that is going down. I like to call it a change from the cowboy economy to the spaceship economy. The cowboy economy, remember the movies with John Wayne. He was riding his horse, he was alone, and it was incredible because you had infinite resources. That is the ancient times. And now we go to the spaceship economy. Everything has to be efficient. Everything has to be controlled. You have to recycle your own urine to make sure that we don't waste anything. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. That's the first challenge. I hope that all of you agree and you're not surprised by that at that stage. There's another one, another challenge, which is the rising level of inequalities. Not so much because of extreme poverty at this side, not so much for that, because extreme poverty has been reduced mainly to market mechanisms in China, in India, but because the rich becomes richer. I don't know if you look at the number of billionaire stake to equate half of the wealth of half of the wealth of the earth, of the population, but the number, I follow this number, was given by Credit Suisse. They don't publish it anymore, unfortunately, but this number went from 2010, there were 400 people to equate half of mankind, and this number went down to 26. That's not very many. So we have resources per population that are evenly distributed, and the spaceship economy, you have spaceships that are becoming really, really, really small, and they see spaceships that are becoming very, very big, and this is a problem. So what is the challenge ahead of us? It's very simple in one sentence. We need to organize a more efficient and a more equitable use of the world resources. We need to squeeze any unit of resource as much as possible to make it efficient, and we have to try to make it equitable. That's the challenge ahead of us. Now, what does I mean by we? Well, I'm talking about the governments, I'm talking about us consumers, I'm talking about the international institutions, I'm talking about a lot of people, and I'm talking also about firms. I think firms have a major role to play here. Why firms? Again, I'm not saying only firms, but also firms. Why firms? I think firms are becoming hugely powerful organizations, and you know that. With power comes responsibilities. This is something that we have seen over many, many years. You had the dominant organization, maybe 1,500 years ago, were the religions, and they had the responsibility to take care. They wrote a lot of things about poverty. They wrote a lot of things to fight poverty. And in exchange, this is what I call positive spillovers. They had more followers. And then there was a switch or an accumulation from the religious power to the political power. And again, they took charge of a lot of things, the very famous welfare state, etc., etc. And the positive spillover was not followers, but voters. And now comes the firms. And the firms are probably the highest. I don't know where you live. Again, I have Cape Town. I have Caracas, Venezuela, simply from Basel. Christian, of course, we'll talk about that later on. But what is important to realize is the highest buildings, wherever you are probably firms. And it says something about their power. Positive spillovers? Yes, of course, positive spillovers. More consumers. So with power comes responsibility. Firms have to contribute to organize a more efficient and a more equitable use of the world resources. And what will there be for them? The firms, well, can make them more resilient to the coming assault coming from societal-minded competitors. We're going to give some examples of that. You have new brands, new companies that are really, really very focused on the societal issues, and they might eat away some market shares from established firms, and also making firms more resilient to the new world to come. So I think firms have a role to play. Now, in one bold sentence, here is what I propose to you, the role of marketing. Marketing has been the daughter of globalization. Marketing is a byproduct, direct byproduct of globalization. Marketing is all about exchange between consumption and production. We are the coupling mechanism. So we are the byproduct of globalization. I think that marketing has what it takes to become the mother of sustainability. This is a bold assumption, and some of you may be laughing at this stage. We'll come to that. Why marketing? Why marketing? 3 reasons again. Marketing role is to scan the environment. Marketing role within the firm is to make sure that we scan the environment and we bring the new reality within the firms. The new reality is the fact that we need to make a more efficient and a more resilient use of our resources. Second, marketing studies the behavior of customers, of us. It's all about persuading consumers, customers, organizations to change attitude and behaviors. And I think this is very important. We have what it takes. We have the theoretical material to help people, to help organizations change attitude and behaviors. I'm going to come to this point in a minute. I just want to talk about the third point. Marketing also sparks new offerings, new business model, then will be designed and deployed within the firm. So I'm not saying that it's only marketing, but I think we have a special responsibility. Marketing has a special responsibility, and marketing should be the mother of sustainability. Let me give you one example. This is research. This is a story, but it is from a research that has been published 12 years ago. So it's not from yesterday. Published in the best journal in marketing, what we call the Rolls-Royce Journal of Marketing Research by Goldstein and their colleagues. It's not the purpose of the study, but let me give you the topic. They looked at the reuse of towels in hotels. And you know, we don't go to hotels as much as we used to because we don't travel as much. But you know that whenever you would go in a hotel, you go to the bathroom and guess what? There is a small card here. Please reuse your towel. When you're at home, you reuse your towel. Make something for the environment. Make sure that you reuse your towel. And if you don't want to reuse your towel, put it on the floor so that we know that we want to change it. Many people are saying, there's nothing to do with saving the environment. They want to save money. Okay, let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the research, because I think the research was more important. It's going to show the power of marketing. Here is the study. The study was, okay, there's a classical message, please reuse your towels, but we are marketers. Maybe we can improve that. Maybe the fact that we study behaviors, the fact that it's all about persuasion, maybe we can do something. So they thought about it. They thought to use the theory, which is a very simple theory in this case, which is herd behavior. So they added on the little note, you know, it's a very little note, this size, font 8 maybe, they added one simple sentence, reuse, and they added 75% of the people in this hotel, 75% are reusing their towels. 75% of the consumer are reusing towels, like just 7 words. Not make it bigger, nothing changed. And then the protocol of the research, very simple. Every day, you completely, by chance, you put either the baseline or the new message. It's completely by chance. And then what you do every morning, you go back to the room and you check whether the towel has been put to reuse or not. Okay? Again, it's a very simple, when you come to your room, say, or your bathroom, say, a message for me. I'm so happy I'm going to read it. No. You know what it is. You don't even read it. We had 7 words. Marketing added 7 words. Now, let me tell you, the baseline was 35.1%. I hope you can read that. 35.1%. That was the baseline of reuse. What do you think? And I want to have some people, really bold people. Give me, what do you think was the reuse age just by adding 7 words on a little card that nobody is reading? Tell it to me. Give it to me. Starting from 35.1%, 60%, 90%, 70, 75, 90, 90%. Wow, 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 wow. 80%. 75, 55, 75. Guys, you believe in marketing more. No, the results are not that much. Guys, remember what we're talking about. We changed nothing. We add 7 words to a small card, nothing more. And then things happen. So the real number, not even 55%. You're very, last, you're getting there. You're getting there. The true number was from 35.1 to 44.1, an increase of over 25%. An increase of over 25%. Just changing, studying the behavior of the customer. Say, look, maybe if we add this sentence, they will be nudged in changing their behaviors. Just this increased the reuse of the towel by 25%. I read that. And I realized, and this is, one of the papers that started really be thinking about this issue. I say, wow, we have in our hand marketing. We have tools that can change the course of where it is that we're going. Voila. So let me now go over the 7 tasks. Efficient use of the resources. This is something that firms already know to deal with. Firms are many things, but you can call them efficiency mechanisms, simplified mechanisms. So here, the thing will be just do it. And we're going to have 4 different tasks here. Equitable use of the resources. This is a new type of thinking because we'll have to think about fairness. And this is not so easy for firms. So we will need a more elaborate process, 3 cumulative tasks. Number 5, number 6, number 7. Each time, what we'll do is to evaluate each task to see whether marketing can do it. Will marketing be able? This is my own evaluation. I'll be very, very happy to discuss it with you. But I am leading Yonis, 34 to 44. I think if you do the math, 35 to 44 is 25% increase, Yonis. I may be wrong, but I think it's 25%. Bring a Cray computer. Yes, 25.6. Bingo. Thank you very much. Anyway, so marketing will be able to do the task. So how difficult is the task? From 1 to 5, from doable to formidable, and then can marketing play a role from questionable to indispensable? It's my own rating. We'll discuss that later together. Multiple mindset before we start. You see here now I need to do some caveat. You can have multiple mindset when you're going to start looking at the different tasks. And if Yonis is questioning my math, you will be, Yonis, able to question what I'm going to say. You can be skeptic about it. Say, look, Fred, you're not reasonable. Fred, please come back to reality. You could do that, and I would certainly understand that you would do that. Or you could be cynical about it. What you're showing us is nothing more than greed and social washing. And, there is probably a good deal of that also going on. Or you could be just critical about it. Like, it's simply not working. Nothing new here. What are you talking about? So you can be skeptical, cynical, critical. May I ask you to be pragmatic about it? May I ask you to say, and to ask yourself these 2 questions. How much of your time and budget, or the marketing time and budget time of your companies, is spent working on these tasks? How can you multiply these numbers? Let me quote Seneca here. It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare them to do them. It's because we don't dare to do them that they are difficult. And I think this is the attitude I want you to have. Dare. Let's go. 1 to 4, efficient use of the world resources. So we're going to zoom on the first one. You see, the first one is with a red. More reasonable consumption. I think this is the basis of everything. Individual consumption, we need to be more reasonable. And then we have 3 ways to help this or to add to that. One is more efficient development and production process. The second one is to have simultaneous usage of everything that's been produced. And number 4, multiple lives of everything that's been produced. Okay? So, first one. The first task of marketing, the first labor of marketing is to organize a more reasonable individual consumption of goods and services. That's the most fundamental one, probably. What needs to be done? We need to convince consumers that we need to change these consumption attitudes and behaviors. Attitudes, more is not always better. I think that 15% of the clothes bought in the UK, from one research I read, is simply not used at all. More is not always better. Simple living, low-hassle lifestyle of health and simplicity. 20% of Americans follow a low-hassle habit. That's good. It's not enough yet. And hubris. I happen to live, my parents happen to live in the south, in the Riviera, south part of France. And I went, almost every year to Saint-Tropez. And I noticed that every year, what is happening is the fact that the size of the boat is going up and up and up and up, to the point that the yacht cannot come to the harbor anymore. Let's end hubris. What we can do also in terms of behavior is how we can make sure that we have less weight, change purchasing pattern, professionalizing some aspect of consumption. When I say changing consumption pattern, purchasing pattern, how can we have at the individual level, how could we have a business-to-business purchasing mindset? Let's not look at the price. Let's look at the total cost of ownership. Let's try to have budgeting tools to make sure that we can better take into account what we really need, what it really costs us, and to make sure that we're more reasonable. How can marketing help? Nudging. You have seen that nudge is working very well, but we can do more than that. Developing new offerings with transparency and certification system. We need to have the marketing need to make sure that they are more and more transparent about the level of resources that were needed. Certification system. Certainly nothing is perfect here, but we have to persevere and to have better certification system. We can also develop new pricing models. New pricing models to make sure that we, the consumers, will understand the total cost of ownership. To make sure that it's not bought once, but we're going to look at the total cost of ownership of a washing machine and making sure that the cheapest machine is not probably the best one, with leasing, etc., of everything. We can develop what has been called VRM systems. You're probably familiar, with the CRM system. Okay, you're probably seen that CRM, 50 billion industry or so. VRS system is the other side. VRM system makes each individual consumer kind of a professional purchasing manager. Vendor relationship management. You look at the Harvard project on VRM, they are doing very, very nice research on the topic. There is a nice book. It's called The Intent Economy. The Intent Economy by Doug Searle. He's a bit of a geek, but I could understand that, so you would. And the idea is very simple. Imagine in the next future that you are about to have your first baby. What you would do is to send a message through the help of a fourth party that sides together with you as a customer to say, look, guys, I am in the market for a stroller and I am in the market for diapers for the next 2 years. Make me an offer. Request for quotation. Now, we cannot do that at this stage. It would be very difficult for us. We need to be helped. We don't have the tools, but this can be done and this will be done in the future to make sure that we have efficient and more reasonable consumption pattern and purchasing pattern. I'm going to give you some other example. How difficult is that? Very difficult. This is a formidable task. What is marketing role? Indispensable at this stage. We have the key. We should nudge and nudge and nudge and nudge. Let me give you some examples here to be maybe more specific about it. Can't read. Stéphane can't read. Write the book tip in the chat. Yes, I could do that. It's called the intent economy, Stéphane. Intent economy, I-N-T-E-N-T economy, Doc Searle. And I'm sorry that my pen does not work enough. Let me try with another one. I think it works slightly better. Intent economy by a professor talk whose name is Dr. So examples, more reasonable individual consumption of goods. You know this example. This one is very well known, but I think it's very telling about what is going on. It's Patagonia, who runs an ad, don't buy this jacket, to put an end to consumerism, to make sure that people pay attention to the fact that they need to use, that they need to be paying attention to the resources that are involved whenever you buy something. Okay? Pretty old example, if you ask me. This is another example. This is very nice because Patagonia, you could say, is one of these societal companies that have been born with CSR, with sustainability. SEB is a very old company. They do a lot of small electrical products. And this is what they have done like 3-4 years ago, if I remember correctly. This is amazing. This is, look, we are going to deploy repairability worldwide. You know, every product, at least in Europe, I don't know if they do that everywhere else, but everywhere, every product will be repairable so that you don't go and just throw away the electric product that you had before. You can repair it, and we guarantee you can repair it. This is very, very nice. You have probably heard about planned obsolescence. This is what, of course, needs to be killed, planned obsolescence. And if you think that planned obsolescence is something of the past, if you refer to the famous cartel, the cartel of the light bulb makers in the year 30s, 20s, and 30s, if you think that it's only a thing of the past, think again. Okay? So we need, of course, to kill planned obsolescence. This is very, very important. And SEB is doing that. 10 years product repairable. Second, so this is the first one was the base, right? We need to find a way to be more reasonable in the way we consume products. Now, this is at the consumer level, B2C, but before getting to B2C, we have the B2B to B2B to B2B to C stage, where there's a lot of production and development processes. And these production processes also need to be more effective and more efficient. Yes, but in the intention economy doctors, this is it. What needs to be done here? My image here that I have in my mind is squeezing the lemon. And this we'll see in the rating. This is much easier because this is what we're doing. So we need just to go full speed ahead. Squeezing the lemon, squeezing the lemon. What needs to be done is to have a really, truly marketing mindset, going away from product and services at the B2B level to customer benefits. Shifting to what I call the best owner principle. Who is the best guy? And the best guy, the one that is most likely to get most juice, the greatest amount of juice out of the lemon. Is it the firm? Is it the supplier? Is it the customer? And how can we shift and organize business model along this using properties of digital technology? The fact that it's more adaptable, the fact that you can connect the business chain B2B to B, you can connect and reconnect and deconnect very easily. The fact that you can now contract on the outcome, very important. You contract on the outcome now because you have IoT, because you have all these digital capability to understand whether the contract was honored or not. So this will enable you to change the production and the development models. Market can help through communication, promoting new KPIs. You know, if I am here, I am at IND, And if there is one, we want to change the HVAC because it's pretty hot. Imagine that we want to change the air conditioning. The new KPI should not be the number of tubes, the number of meters of cables, the central units. No. It should be and only be the temperature. Focus on product service system. Focus on economies of functionality. This is very, very important. And using data enablers and data enablers, the IoT and the analytics to make sure that we are going to be able to contract. This is very, very important here. Very important because probably IMD knows less about air conditioning, about ventilation than the company that is working on it. So the company should be able to do a better job, more efficient job, more effective job to maintain the temperature at the right level. And we should contract on these KPIs. We should not contract on the number of meters or the size of the central unit. Creating new pricing models with skin in the game is very, very important. We can be more effective and more efficient if we go away from a win-lose to aligning the objectives and aligning the incentives along the supply chain. Let me give you some examples of that. Difficulty, not so difficult. Firms are doing it. Marketing role, pretty important, but not alone with the other stakeholders in the firm. Let me give you two examples, PPG and Michelin Solutions. PPG was making coloring pigments for the car industry. Okay, and one day they went and they talked to Mr. Fiat. And they had the right question. Mr. Fiat, how important is car coloring and what do you do in car coloring? What is your car painting? And Fiat apparently was pretty honest. He said, well, yeah, we need to paint our cars. Of course, we need to paint our cars. But if I looked at my budget, investing more, this is not a priority. We need to do so much more that painting is not a priority. So PPG says, well, let me change the business model. I will take over your paint shop. So far, nothing new because it's just outsourcing 1.0. But I accept to be paid according to the number of cars that are going to be painted with the right spec. I accept to have an outcome-based contract. So if the car is well painted, well meaning within the specs that we agree together, I get my money. If the car is not well painted, I don't get my money, or I get a penalty. Why is it a better and a more efficient or effective production process? Because chances are that PPG knows more about painting than Fiat. And sorry for the Italians here. No, it could have been anybody else. Okay? PPG knows about painting, and they will use less painting, so it will be a win-win contract here. Same thing with Michelin Solutions. Michelin Solutions started with the tires. Okay, say, look, do you really need to buy tires? No. The customers don't like tires. They must have tires because they want to go from A to B. So going from tires to kilometers, selling kilometers. Why is it interesting for Michelin to do that? Because it's more risky. The capital now belongs to Michelin, so they need to make more money because it's a more risky business. Well, the one thing that is important, above and beyond being able to create barriers of entry, barrier to exit, above and beyond getting more money across the value chain, because now they are doing themselves all the service around the tires, beyond the intimacy that you can have with one customer for 3 years, because you are the only tire provider. Beyond all this, there is one thing that is important. Who better than Michelin can deal with Michelin tires and make sure that the Michelin tires will last their 4 lives? Because a tire is like a cat. It has 4 lives. And that's the value creation thing. And now they started with the tires, and now they say, look, it's not only about tires, we're going to help you extract more value, squeezing the lemon from your traders, offering a lot of services to make sure that this piece of capital, this asset, will bring as much efficiency as possible. And I think this is very important. Okay, you are asking a lot of questions like how to solve warranty and pain, etc. I don't think this is the purpose of this session to go into the detail. I just want to be very impressionistic here. This is a 30-minute version of, or 45-minute version of something that can be taught. Each topic should be half a day or more. So let's try to go as fast as possible here. Number 3, systematizing the shared economy despite the COVID, because the COVID is a big blow to the shared economy. What needs to be done? On the demand side, shifting the mindset, what I call the ownership detox. We are not what we have, we are what we share. Very difficult, but marketing again will be there. Supply side, systematically identifying the underutilized skills or assets. Again, why do you have all these models with the automotive industry? Why we have all these Uber, these BlaBlaCar, this share economy? Why? It's because the current efficiency or the historical efficiency of the car industry was 1%. Because the car was used only 1 hour per day, that's 5% of the time, and it was moving 1.1 person. That's 20% of its capacity. So 20 multiplied by 5, that's 1%. So when you identify that this asset is only utilized 1% of the time, now you have, this is license to innovate, license to systemize the shared economy. We need to generate models because there are different models of the shared economy. You have the intermediate model, a la Uber, a la Airbnb, and Uber has been rightly criticized. So I'm not a fan of Uber. I think that they're going to get there. Eventually it will be fair, hopefully. You have the intermediate model. Then you have the peer-to-peer model. It's another possibility where people are sharing peer-to-peer, not for profit or for profit. But what I'm thinking about is a third kind of share economy. It's the direct model. It's very intriguing possibilities. Why is it that the firms who make the products and the services, the products in the first place, why is it that they are not the ones that start, when they start by organizing sharing models? And now, of course, you will say, oh, they're going to sell less. Well. Let's see. So we need to communicate and nudge the sharing models, and we have to study in depth the value capture in sharing models. Like imagine that when you buy a car at Renault, you will have also the option of saying, look, I buy the car, but I agree that I will be wanting to share my car according to this condition. Why is it that Renault lets other people do that? I think there is some very interesting, this is what I call direct sharing business model to new buyers. And I think we have not enough studied the value capture that these guys could do. Yes, they would be selling less cars, but these cars will be used and have run more kilometers. So it's not clear how it will be in the end. Yes, the sharing economy with COVID is more complicated. I agree with you. And I was disgusted, it's probably too strong, but I was really not happy to see how the plastics industry in the US, how they try to say, look, we told you plastic is much better. We need to have a one use and back to where we were 50 years ago. Difficulty, 4 out of 5. Marketing role, pretty important, 4 out of 5. Again, what do I know about that? Number 4, last one. From the sharing economy to the circular economy. Once it has been shared, once it has been used, the lemon has been squeezed as much as possible, then what do we want to do? We want to make sure it's recycled, the circular economy. And again, despite the COVID. Changing customer mindset about the current take, make, waste system, shifting design objective to include, it's not possible that the marketing people do not have designed objective that include circularity at this stage. And organizing interorganizational ecosystem so that what is the end of one life can become the start of another life. How can marketing help? Communication again and again. Promoting eco-conception, eco-design product lines within the firm. And develop nudge business model that foster circularity. Thank you very much, Patrick, for your LinkedIn site. And I think, indeed, if we can create marketing professionals around the world that will unite toward that goal, that would be great. Difficulty for marketing role 3, because this is really the job of the firm, but marketing can definitely have a role here in the design objective. Some examples. I don't know if you know Arendt. Let me show you Arendt. Arendt is a Dutch firm, about like 350 million in sales, if I understand. And they decided that they wanted to kill what they called the fast furniture industry. And they say, look, we are going to design modular products with life extensions. This is very important. We're going to use low impact, reusable material. We're going to use modular production facility, which itself uses renewable energy. And they have started now to develop the leasing business model, furniture as a service. I think it's a great, great example of what can be done. 5 to 7, we switch now from more efficient use of the world resources to more equitable. So from the problem of the world resources to the problem of equity in the world. What we need is new knowledge, new mindset, and new business model here. New knowledge. We need to make sure marketing can increase the knowledge base of production conductions. What needs to be done? Systematically providing customers information about the firm's, sorry for the spelling mistake, operation. This is very important. You need to know more and more companies to be transparent. Communicating about the importance of production condition. Developing certification system at the industry level. Transparency and price breakdowns are very, very important here. Marketing role 5, difficulty, not so difficult. Not so difficult. I have some examples here. Imagine that we have on everything you buy, you have a breakdown of the price, and and what is important here is to look at it's the labor, 12 cents. 12 cents. So the shirt costs you $14, but labor is 12 cents. Imagine you would increase labor costs in Rana Plaza in Bangladesh by 10%. That would be 1 cent. Why don't we do that? Once you know that, you realize the complexity of the world and you realize the price breakdown, and then you don't use just the multiplying rule as it used so often. What about that? Transparent pricing. Now, where does your money go when you buy an electric bike? I think this is something you have to ask. And marketing, we have to give this information. When you buy something 100, where does it go? What is labor and how much will it cost to increase the labor if your product is made in India, in Vietnam, or in China? Modest Mark is another interesting company. We hate secrets. Transparent pricing. Where your money goes when you purchase our product. I think we need to do that to, again, underline the labor part, underline what it would be to give good working conditions and to at least help decrease inequalities. Number 6, developing a new mindset. Understanding that what we see now is just a recent evolution and capitalism will morph further. This is the amazing thing about capitalism. Developing altruism, why not? You think now I'm completely crazy, that's okay with me. Playing, if you don't like altruism, playing on the warm glow effect. What is the warm glow effect? It's called self-motivated altruism, which is interesting because it's an oxymoron. Well, the warm glow effect is the fact that people are willing to be generous, but not so much because they want to help third parties, but because they want to feel good about themselves. The warm glow effect. Why don't we play on that? Why don't we stimulate that to make sure that people will indeed be more generous, be altruistic, even if it was for self-motivated reason? So communicating about the fact that, a new age of capitalism, time for a reset, refusing marketing should really refuse to engage into greed and social washing. I think this is so, so important. Developing business model with warm glow effect. How can you make sure that, this extra effort will make people feel good? The one thing I'm always thinking of when I think about the warm glow effect is a little sticker that you get when you donate. The little sticker is here to say, look, and you put it on your coat and you leave it for 1 week. You know, I gave to the Red Cross or I have to whatever. And sacrificing some efficiency for fairness. This one is very important. It's not very clear how you can do that. Let me give you an example of Xerox. Xerox, they have a lot of churn in their call center, and they use AI to make sure that they would understand what would be a good predictor of people staying in their jobs. We're talking about jobs that are really paid very, very low. And of course, one predictor is, well, how many times these guys have changed jobs? Are they there about their mindset? Are they inquisitive or not? The more inquisitive, the less they are going to stay. And there was one more thing that could help better predict that the people would stay longer. And this was how far you were from your home. And Xerox decided to let this go away, not incorporate that in their model to predict whether these guys were going to churn to stay longer or not. And I found it really remarkable to say, look, we are willing to sacrifice some efficiency for fairness. Kudos to Xerox to do that. Difficulty, hugely difficult. Marketing role, very, very important. Number 7, almost I'm longer than I thought. Developing a new mindset. An example, look at Fairphone. I see that there are many people that are from the Netherlands. I think that Fairphone is a Dutch company. Very interesting. I'm not sure. Very interesting. Look at there. You will understand everything. Together, we can change the way products are made. Creating products that last, choosing fair materials, putting people first to make sure that no harm has been made and the people can get a better, decent living. Number 7, last one, creating more equitable business models. What can be done? Fighting the creation of poverty penalties. I've done research in this area. We create, without wanting it, we create poverty penalties because we don't realize that poor people are going to pay more per unit of goods and services than non-poor people. Developing inclusive business models. I'll talk more about that later on. Collaborating with the informal economy to make sure to create bridges between the formal and the informal economy. In India, 60% of the jobs belong to the informal sector. Let's create some bridges. Like in Vietnam, Bell is working with the street vendors to collaborate, and 20% of the volume of the sales of la vache qui rit, this processed cheese, is coming from the street vendors. So we have to systematically understand the impact of current business model across income levels. This is one of the first things I would like your marketing guys to do. Looking at the impact of current business model across income levels. Let me give you a very simple example. And I'm going to talk very positively of Renault, but think about that. For many years, and this is something that people know about, for many years, Renault was not able to make money on the new cars. But Renault, as a brand, was making money. So it was in Europe. What was going on? Well, they were making money elsewhere. Where? New old vehicles, maintenance, and repair. Now let me ask you a question. Who will benefit more from repair and maintenance? Is it the new car owners or the old car owners? Of course, it's the old car owners will go more to maintenance and to repair. So, and Renault was making money on that. So, in fact, during that time, the business model of Renault could be seen as kind of a vacuum cleaner, taking profit out of the non-rich who do not have, or the people who could not afford a new car, making a profit here, to be able to sell without a profit the new cars. This is a problem. So you maybe have to check that. And you will see how Renault reacted to that remarkably. Launching B Corp business unit or transforming your company to a B Corp. Look at what Danone is doing. Developing new business model for the bottom of the pyramid. Mixed model business model. A la CK Prahalad. Social business model. A la Mohamed Yunus. Helping promote more demanding fair trade certification. Developing what we have done a research with a colleague of mine, Bob for Top business model, where key skills, key raw materials will be directly going to the top of the pyramid to the luxury product, like the wool, the Kulu wool from the yak goes directly from China and Mongolia to Hermes, creating a lot of equitable business model there, a lot of value in locally created. Not very difficult to do that. Marketing role is very, very important here. Let me give you an example. This is what I was talking about when I talked about Renault. In France, we have created what was called the Action Tank Social and Business. And the idea was to develop instances, experiments with all these companies, experiments of business model targeted to people, poor people living in France in this case. And Renault, to come back to them, because I speak about them, Renault is developing an approach, Renault Mobilis, whereby if you are poor, you can get your car repaired at no profit, rock bottom cost, if you go to one of the voluntary garage that is willing to do that. I think this is remarkable. This is a business model, inclusive business model, a social business model that is targeted at the poor people at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, this is a call to action. This is a call to action. I'm sorry, I'm much longer than I thought. We have a problem organizing a more efficient and a more equitable use of the world resource. We have the solution. The solution is marketing. Marketing can be the mode of sustainability. I show you how many levels we have, what we can do. I know that nothing is perfect. I know that some of what I say is not reasonable. I know that I need to come back to reality at times. I know that some of what I told you may be green and social washing, at least in part. And I know that some things are simply not working in the long term, that maybe for you nothing was new. However, I would like you to answer this question, very simple question. You know, what matters now is to go mainstream. How much of your time and budget is spent working on this issue if you're in marketing? If you're not in marketing, how much time is spent with your marketing team to think about these issues? Each firm could conduct experiments and projects in all 7 areas, going from 1% of their time and budget to 2%, to 5%, to 10%. Marketing departments could spearhead the effort, devoting more resources to the 7 new tasks. And I would like to finish. I started with Hercules. I would like to finish with another myth, Sisyphus. You know, Sisyphus, he was condemned by the gods to carry a rock to the top of the hill, and then the rock will fall down and will do it again. And you may know Albert Camus and his treatise on Sisyphus. I want to read you the last words of this, because I think this is so important. I leave Sisyphus at the foot of the mountain. One always finds one's burden again. But Sisyphus teaches the higher fidelity that negates the gods and raises rocks. Here is what I love so much. It gives me goosebumps, guys. The struggle itself toward the height is enough to feel a man's hurt. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Guys, I hope you will be Sisyphus, happy Sisyphus, that will be sharing this burden and making sure that we make, and marketing makes, a contribution to making the world more efficient and more equitable. And I do apologize because I realize how long I was, but I thank you very much. Now, if you have questions, I'll be happy to take all the questions. Let's take 10 more minutes. I'll be happy if we get together, all the more if you are in marketing. I think we should unite our strengths, develop experiments, and share. The way we did it in France, we can do it everywhere. We can do it at an international level. If each firm is experimenting and is willing to share the experiment to see what they have learned, I think we can make marketing the mother of sustainability. Thank you. Any questions? I will be more than happy, Jan, to give you the slide deck. So I'll be happy to share it with you. No problem. Just send me your mail and I'll... Very good question, Bogdan. I think this is a great question. No, we cannot do. The question is, can we do marketing and strategy without AI? No, we can't. You have seen that AI, in fact, is like, is a genius, another myth, sorry. But it's true. It's true that AI can do a lot of things, a lot of good things, and there is a dark side of AI. So it's up to us to make sure that the dark side does not dominate. But AI the connectivity of AI, the connectivity of digital, and the contractability, the adaptability, these are key enablers for us to develop this new business model. Marketing is the bridge between customers and internal development. Yes, 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 yes. How about communicating with customers and customers to be? I think, yeah, this is part of the first task. This is very important. How would the marketing department convince the other departments, CFO, production? This is key here. This is, Andre, this is worth 1 minute on it. You don't catch flies with vinegars. So I think what you can do is to show the business case of CSR, to show that, in fact, maybe you're not going to lose money and maybe you can win somebody by developing these more efficient and more equitable business models. It's not enough, but I think this may work and this may attract the CFO and the production. Mervyn, I agree with you. The COVID, Mervyn and Luca, the COVID is a problem. I agree with you. So what can we do? I hope that the COVID will be, and I have a paper if you want. I looked at the CSR, the impact of COVID on CSR activity of the firm. I think there's several very interesting 3 consequences. But overall, I don't want to go into the details. But overall, what is important to realize is that the COVID is a wake-up call. That it's really, you know, guys, the world is not going well. There are problems. We need to address these problems. But again, I have a paper. If you want to read it, it's not yet submitted. But if you want I'll be happy to share. Thank you very much, Marco. Bravo for your French. I think ESG investing is very interesting, Christian. You have seen, Christian is, you know, how can you be more, how can financial service become more sustainable? This is a tough question, but what is interesting is how BlackRock and all the financial community, little by little, and yes, there is some greenwashing and social washing on the CEO's part, BlackRock, but he's making some decision not to invest anymore in carbon incentive industries is a huge decision. So I think we're going to get there also from the financial part. Now, your question is a bit too general, Christian. That is difficult for me to answer to it. Thank you very much for all your comments, guys. At IMD, we strive to be very punctual. So again, thank you very much. I hope you don't think I'm too crazy. I hope you will have an agenda for the years to come. And please stay in touch. Keep in touch. I think it's a call to action. So I'll be very, very happy to relay what has been done and how we can move further. Thank you very, very much. Have a nice weekend. Happy Friday. Nice weekend. And please don't forget, don't forget your mask and beware about keeping your social distance. À bientôt. Thank you very much, everybody.